Greetings and welcome, everybody. This is your host, Teresa W. Gamble of Courageous Conversations. We are keeping our Learn Life series going, and I have I am so super excited for this guest, y'all. He is the founder of the first HBCU, that is Historical Black College University Elementary School in Jacksonville, Florida. I am super excited. I had an opportunity to go tour their facilities in the Gateway Town Center, which is off the chain. If you old school, I'm telling my age. If you remember Cloth World back in the day, it's where Cloth World used to be, and you go right past Cloth World going towards the expressway, and Becoming Academy is right next door. So I want you all to make sure you all go out and go visit if you in the city, or if you are online, I need you to check out their website. It's becomingschools.org. So today we have Mr. Cameron Frazier, the principal, the visionary, the founder of the Becoming Academy in Jacksonville. And I'm super excited to have you on our platform today, Mr. Cameron.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. I love the energy. Thank you so much. And hello to everybody.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, we're having a conversation. We've been talking, I've been posting and talking about trauma-informed practices, social emotional learning, and we are keeping this Learn series going with talking with leaders in the classroom, in the grassroots. We've seen everything from federal to state, all these politicians, they're polarizing education politically that it does not need to be. They're invoking CRT theories, trying to scare folk to talk about our past, our ancestral past, what they did, how they thought. So this conversation in this series is coming from an actual principal that's going to share trauma educational practices in a trauma-sensitive environment, specifically for children of color. Now, I'm quite sure his school population is diverse, but it's predominantly students of color. So Mr. Cameron, before we dive into the question, tell us a little bit about Becoming Academy so our viewers can understand why you were sought after by us to have you to interview on this conversation.
Yeah, again, I'm so excited to be here. Becoming Collegiate Academy is a true community school. I am from the community, and this school is for our community. It was designed specifically for our students, with our students in mind. And with that, we wanted to create a space to belong. And to do so, we decided to model after historically Black colleges and universities. So we are the first HBCU inspired elementary school right here in Jacksonville, Florida, right here in North Jacksonville as well. You know, this is something for us is extremely special to be able to open up a school like this in our community where there is so much need for just basic love and seeing our kids and pouring into them and telling them what they can be and showing them examples of what they can be, building positive relationships. Like all of those things are like woven into the fabric of our school. And it is designed for Black kids with Black kids. Every kid in mind, our schools are public schools, so any child can attend. But we love on every last one of them. And we specifically love on our Black students that are enrolled because, again, we are 100% Black. We might not stay 100% Black, but we're gonna love on all of them as they are, and they all are gonna learn about the great things that has happened through historically Black colleges and universities.
That is awesome. For my listeners and my viewers, when y'all get a chance, go on their Facebook page. He captured some amazing videos, how they was preparing to open the school. And y'all got to check out what's in the hallways. That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to dive into these questions right now on trauma educational practices and social emotional learning. So, Mr. Cameron, the first question is, how do you define trauma as a principal?
Yeah. Trauma is an emotional response to some type of terrible event that has happened in your life, whether that's like an accident, losing a loved one, natural disaster, but it's an emotional response to an event. And I just look at it as that, like it's an emotional response. And it is our job as educators to notice that, and to notice that you gotta, and I know I'm going into what we'll probably be talking about, but it's seeing your kids, right? Like seeing the people who's in front of you, being present and noticing their humanity. And trauma is that ability to be able to see when there's something off with somebody and there's something that's going on that they may need that additional support with.
That is good. So how does past experiences might affect a person's definition of what trauma is?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different, right? So like we all have dealt with different experiences in life. Some of us have had more traumatic experiences and more harder experiences than others, but every day we wake up, we all interact with the same earth. Like we all have issues, we all have different things, we have lost loved ones. Like none of us are exempt from trauma, right? Some of us, and unfortunately in our community, we experience it more, but nobody's exempt from it. So it's important to be able to like notice again when those shifts in people, when knowing your people, knowing when those shifts are there, so you can know how to respond to it. Trauma is something like, and I keep saying it, but everybody goes through it. Is really highlighted in the Black community, and because we don't have some of us don't have the supports to deal with it. You know, it's the reactions to it are a little bit more in extreme sometimes.
That's good. That is very good. So have you had any trauma informed training or have you attended any? And if so,
Yeah,
can you expound on what type of training and what was your takeaways from it?
yeah, I've actually been to a lot because it's something I'm very interested in. And when I opened up the school, like that was one thing that I really wanted, like a school that was pretty much like wraparound, so that any child that is, because again, trauma can happen to anybody, right? Like, so any child that's dealing with it, they can have a space where they feel like they can be safe. So I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of just like I've been to a few conferences just on trauma informed practices. I've been trained. I've done conscious discipline, which is a trauma-based, social emotional curriculum. I've been in schools that have had, really like toured schools across the country that have had like some really strong trauma-informed practices that they use within their classrooms. I've obviously done my own self-research in opening up a school. I was in a program called the Freedom Fellows Institute my first year in opening the school, and they trained us to open school. They trained me and 6 other leaders to open up our own charter schools in our respective communities. And one piece of that was taking us across the country and seeing different schools and different models and learning about like trauma informed practices. So the fabric of our school, like trauma informed practices, trauma is all woven in the fabric of Becoming Collegiate Academy, and the things we have in place for every student is, designed with that in mind to make sure that they have those supports that they can be, so they can be successful.
That is amazing. I love the fact that you got a chance to travel to see
Yeah,
other schools that already have trauma informed practices and in place. And I believe if that opportunity was available to not just public charter schools, but all the individuals who seek in principalship or assistant principalship in our country, maybe maybe they'll have a different perspective to matriculate to their staff. So that is amazing.
yeah, it's important to see what other people are doing. Like that's
That's good.
really important.
Which trauma school model stood out most to you on that tour you took?
There's a school in DC, and I just drew a blank on the name of it. I'm like, there's a school in DC, and I cannot think of the name of it, but it is an elementary school, and they use the conscious discipline approach. But the school is like is trauma informed. This is like wrapped in every bit of it, and you can feel it in the relationships between the students and staff.
Wow.
And it's just like a really positive environment. And like that school, like I had the biggest takeaway from that school. Now, I really cannot believe I cannot think of the name of it right now. Because it really was like one of my favorite schools that we had visited, in the fellowship. And I talk about it a lot of times when I'm speaking about like just like strong culture,
Mm-hmm.
and having those trauma informed practices present, like that school, they did it. They do it right.
Awesome, awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. I will get the name of the school for you and
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
put it in the description so you can check it out, so you can adopt or either propose this model for your school if you're not doing it. So we're going to move right on to the next question. What is your understanding of trauma-informed strategies in an educational learning environment? I know you did all this research to start your own school, but what was your initial understanding of trauma-informed strategies?
Yeah, for me, I not only just like did the research, but I reflected a lot on my own life, right? Like I reflected a lot on the life of the kids that I had taught in the schools that I've taught in, and just thought very deeply. And one thing in terms of like trauma-informed practices, I just was like, all right, I just got to make sure that every kid feels seen, right? Like that's one big part of it. It's like, it's one thing for me to deal with trauma, but it's another thing for me to deal with it alone. So I wanted to make sure that all of our kids feel seen. So like I have created specific systems in our school to make sure that happens. So for example, in the morning when our kids, like when our brown bears walk, we refer to our students as brown bears. When our brown bears walk through the door, like they are receiving like extremely intentional greetings as they're walking along the hallway. So the moment we get them out the car, they get an intentional greeting. They get an intentional greeting when they get to the door. They get an intentional greeting when they're inside the building. In every classroom they walk past, they're getting an intentional greeting. That's to let them know we see you, we love you, we happy you're here, we acknowledge your humanity, we acknowledge your presence. So like I think sometimes like it's really simple, but like sometimes like those simple things make the biggest difference in a person's life, especially a kid. Like we think we need to go do something, all big and all, grand, and it's like it's the simple things that count. Show me that you know that I'm here and that you see that I'm present and that you want me here, that I belong here. The other piece of it is like that builds on to that is making sure that there's opportunity for our brown bears to have to build positive relationships, not only with themselves, amongst themselves, but also with staff. Like each of our brown bears have an adult that they can go to in the building and say like, that's my person that I can talk to, or that's my person that I can connect with. We have 2 teachers in every classroom. So therefore we have like multiple to keep eyes on our kids to know like how they're going, how they're doing, seeing the shifts in their, moods. Every morning as a staff, we check in, and all of our brown bears check in classrooms, and we do a community circle where it's like, we just share how we're feeling that morning. That way, if anybody has any issues, it's like, I'm feeling blue today. Well, I know as a teacher, well, let me, in my mind, like remember as I'm circulating the room to come back to you and make sure, see why you're in the blue zone. And how can I get you to the green zone? How can I get you feeling better? What's going on? So those are like the small things that schools can do. Those are the small strategies that schools can implement that will make a world of a difference in the child's life in terms of like being able to support them through trauma. Because again, we all deal with it. None of us are exempt from it. Everybody's dealing with it, especially in our community. It's so hard right now. People are struggling. These are really hard times. So, we just have to like, it's all about compassion too. Like just being kind and like being compassionate to people. And those are the things like I continuously talk to our staff about. And they do a great job. Like I have an amazing team that, they love all of our brown bears. They love all of our brown bear families, and we treat everybody with the same level of respect and the same level of compassion because people need it nowadays.
Oh, wow. That is so bad. I'm over here smiling ear to ear because before I even, those of you that don't know, I had a background as a teacher, and my thing was middle school, high school. I love the little people, don't get me wrong, but they keep me busy than usual. But just hearing the things that you do, it reminds me of the things that I used to implement in the class, and I used to try to get my other colleagues to do the same, because it's very important for our children to be seen, because we already know society already trying to whitewash our history. So now they're trying to whitewash our present. So I love the way with the intentional greetings, the community circles, that is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. I like that, to ask them how they feel. And that's even before they get in your classroom. Right. So that way the teachers can know who they need to watch out and look out for today. And you're right. We need to be more compassionate and kind. And that's talking about the care ethics that practices that goes along with trauma-informed practices. So I think that's amazing. So that's good to hear. So my next question is, how might a person's race, gender identity, or age impact how you treat student or staff person differently if they experience trauma. So with the demographic makeup of us, your students and your staff members, how do they treat each other when they know that person has experienced some type of trauma?
Yeah. Well, our staff in the beginning, we had a couple weeks of professional development, and it was like extremely important for us that as a staff, we just like understood who we are, like each other. So we shared our stories, right? Like we did a lot of like identity work in the beginning, just so that we can understand that there's a level of commonality between all of us, right? Like we all deal with trauma, we've all dealt with some trauma, and again, some of us may have not dealt with as much as others. And we're not trying to have trauma Olympics here, but we all know that, like there is a level of commonality that's there.
Right.
And that helped us set the stage to be able to support each other throughout the year. So for us, whether you're a man or a female or whatever, we treat everybody the same. Like you come as you are, we are not judging. All we here to do is love, right? Like the only things in life that's real is love. And we make sure we spread it all day. So therefore, for me, I don't really like hone in on, a male, female. Like I treat all of them the same. I give all of them the same level of like, attention. And it's hard because there's a lot of them, they all saying Mr. Frazier's name at the same time, but I try to make sure that I just give all of them the same level of attention, the same level of love. Again, everybody gets a greeting from Mr. Frazier when they enter the door in the morning. I walk into every classroom after I greet them and just like check in with them again, just to make sure they're good. It takes 15 minutes out of my day to do that. And it could be a big lift for some, but for me, it just allows me to gauge and see, where my baby's at, what they need, what they don't need. Because we got to have the basic stuff, completed, first before we can, throw a book in their face. It's like, I need to make sure you good, your mind is good, you're present, you're here, you understand what we're doing, you understand why we're doing it, so that therefore you can do it with fidelity and go in and apply it and produce the excellence that I know that they're going to produce in the future.
I love that. I love how you all make sure. Now you got you done coined a new phrase now that I'm gonna have to steal. Trauma Olympics. Oh gosh, I love it. Because you're right. There is no competition. Nobody's trauma is greater than the other to get a medal. I mean, that is something that, people want that attention, but yours should not take precedence over mine. So I appreciate you saying that. Now I want you to tell me a little bit more about this identity work. What was that like with you and your staff to do that identity work?
Yeah, I mean, it started from day one, like we spent the first actual 2 days of summer PD, which is us getting to know each other. And we had, we had some outside vendors come in and teach us. We did a little bit of in-house training, but it was all just like getting to know who we are. So it was a lot of reflecting on who am I, and then a lot of sharing who am I, and then listening to other people and then finding the commonalities and differences amongst our staff. We did, and I'm sorry, it's like I'm drawing blank, but we did like I forgot the name of it, like an identity walk where like if you call out a specific, to know the commonality. So if I called out something specific, like I grew up in an affluent neighborhood, like you step out and then, you notice who's out in the line and then you step back in. That was so powerful for our staff because we all are so diverse. We all Black, but there's diversity in Black, right? Not every Black is the same. So therefore it was important for us to be able to like see who's in the room. Like that was big for us. Life maps are always a big one. We did knowing like how, understanding what love is, and how do we show love, breaking down our core values. We did like all of that work in the beginning, because, I knew that it was important for us to like have a common mindset and to understand the common mission that we're on. Like we're preparing all of our kids to be successful in college and life, and they're going to come to us with their own traumas. So we got to know, and we got to be comfortable in who we are and support, and have the support to support each other as a staff. Because when our kids coming in here, like they're going to have so much that they're going to be bringing, and we got to be strong enough to be able to like, hold on to it, but then also still hold them to like high expectations and teach them. So it was important for us to like have that commonality and that bond built.
I love that. Now that exercise you talked about, the first one, I remember seeing that in the movie Freedom Riders with Miss Griswold. She did
Yes.
that with her students.
Yes.
She would call out, how many who saw, lost
Yeah.
friends to gun violence. So I can relate exactly
That's
to
a
that exercise.
powerful exercise. That is a powerful, like that was one of like the ones where even me leading, I was like, wow, like I'm just, it was really powerful because sometimes when you see Black, we all think just one thing, right? Like
Right.
like we all, we all have like this common view that society has made us believe, and like we all think one thing. It's like, no, we all have many differences amongst us, even though we're the same race. So it was good for us to like be able to see what those differences are and to respect them and to love and to love them because of those, not in spite of them. So it was really
So
powerful.
that's good. So I like that. It's diversity in Black. So that means you had some privilege and disadvantage going on with that diversity in Black.
Yeah, for sure. Like we, like not every Black person, has a story of struggle, right? Like that's
Yep.
another thing that we got to get out of our mind. It's like not every Black person struggle, not every Black person have that story of struggle. So it's good to be able to see like where we all come from, because that's what makes this experience even more rich of us being able to impact our kids, right? Like if you know how to do something that's, that you've learned in the context of where you're from. Like maybe you grew up on a farm, like you have a different context than what we may have grown up in the city. So it's like, how do I bring that to this work to make the experience richer? So it's those things are very important to me.
That is amazing. I would have loved to been a fly on the wall in that training. I probably would have been your cheerleader because when I was teaching, they didn't do those type of exercises. And I went to a lot of Duval County Public Schools summer training. I was fortunate. One of the Black principals at the time at Matthew Gilbert, I was a long-term substitute, and she approved for me to do summer training with the certified teachers. And a lot of them thought I was teaching a long time and I was a rookie in the game. But because I had a lot of my rituals, my upbringing, my mom being a Sunday school teacher, my dad, had us in church. See, when you got that faith-based background, that PK background, you can do it. So I am so super excited that you are employing that with your staff to equip them, not just physically, but mentally for your brown bears. So kudos to you, Mr. Cameron.
Thank you.
All right, our next question is, you have already talked about ways to model and encourage trauma-informed practices in the learning environment. Let's talk about how would you as a principal, when you're modeling and doing it, dealing with conflicts. And the reason I'm incorporating this word conflicts, because I've ran across some leaders, some educators, they don't like conflicts. So how does the Becoming Schools deal with conflicts?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like conflict either. I'm a Libra. We hate conflict. We like to keep it peaceful at all times.
Right.
But I do recognize that, conflict is healthy, right? Conflict is a way to gain an understanding. So I do know that, and I don't. We train staff on like how to have conversations when conflict arises, because conflict is going to happen. Like we all are individuals coming in together. Like even with the kids, conflict is going to happen. So it's equipping them with the tools to be able to like learn how to deal with that conflict. So for example, with adults, it's saying things like, like we have a 24-hour rule. If somebody say something or anything to you that offended you, you got 24 hours to talk to them. If you don't talk to them within those 24 hours, you need to let it go. Don't bring it back in this building because you had your opportunity to be able to to talk about it. And then when you're talking about it, making sure that one, we take a step back and we breathe. You take a deep breath before you send that email that you want to send. That may be a little bit off of tone. You may need to take a step back before you go in that meeting and just breathe. So, teaching them it's okay to breathe. We teach our kids that we have mindfulness before they go into the next subject, they breathing. Even during whole school community circle, before I let them go, we breathing. Because I need you to like reset, calm your body, calm your mind, and get back focused. And I know I'm going for the tangent piece, but it's
No,
just
no. It's good because I brought this question up for you because of what you have set in the foundation with your training with your staff, what you implement daily with your students. And this is part of trauma-informed strategies, is that conflict, because that's where we do not do enough self-reflection. So no, you are not going on no tangent. Keep going. I'm loving it.
yeah. And the last piece of it is like when you're having that conversation, it's like knowing what to say. So we just teach our staff, like, when you say X, it made me feel like Y. Stop right there and allow the person to talk. You know what I mean? Like, and it just like, and listen, learning how to listen. Like we teach our kids a lot about, like our brown bears, a lot about that. Like, how do you listen? How do you learn how to listen? How do you learn how to like have those conversations with other people? How do you, and kids, they conflict arises to them all day, every day. And it's a constant of like, even when you ask them, like, usually at the root of it is like, oh, I want to be your friend, but I don't know how to. It's like, you got to teach all of those things. Like, how do you become friends? Like, how do you make friends? So it's like really just always keeping it at the forefront. And we always teaching and coaching around those things. Like people think that school is just about teaching the content, but you got to also teach the other part as well. So we always coaching around like, how do we act? How do we communicate with each other? How do we support each other? Like all of those things. And they know if there's conflict between the two and they get two, I'm like, yo, I have a bud not buddy program. Like y'all don't like each other. Okay, well, you're gonna be buddies today and you're gonna learn to like each other. You're gonna eat lunch together. You're gonna sit by each other in class. You're gonna build some level of commonality so you know that this is your brother and your sister because we're all in this together. And she's a brown bear, you're a brown bear, and neither one of you going anywhere. So therefore, we need to find the love that exists between the two of y'all. So like it's just a lot of that. Just being creative, and a lot of like just conversations and like breaking it down for our brown bears to like let them know that, it's there's strength in this community, and we have to just keep it. We have to keep that bond tight. We have to.
I love that. You make enemies be buddies. Lord help today.
Oh, yeah, they already know.
I love it.
They already know, bud, not buddy. You already know.
I'm just laughing because I can imagine trying to do that with some middle school and high school students and even some college students. That would be a hot mess. You got to hang with each other all day.
I got the perfect grade level to do it with. They can't say no.
That is cute. I love it. I am so loving this. I love how you responded to conflict because a lot of times I have been in settings, I have been in programs, I have been in positions where I seen conflict arise, not just with myself, but with others. And a lot of leaders don't handle it well, and it change how other students and people perception of you is presented. In other words, they just ignore the problem. They want to address it. They don't even have a strategy or approach, to get to the matter of the issue. So I love that with the listening, the breathing, especially the 24-hour rule. I might have to adopt that one too. If you ain't telling me in 24 hours what I did, then you need to let it go. I love that. I love that. I love that. So our next question is, explain to me the relationship between trauma-informed educational practices and social emotional learning. What's their relationship? What does to you?
Yeah, social emotional learning kind of provides like a framework to me, to like teach how to deal with the trauma, right? So like the social emotional learning, that's giving me strategy. To me, it's like giving me strategy. So if I think about like social emotional learning, like for example, like our community circle when we check in the morning, that's social emotional learning, right? Like that's us like learning how to like state how we feel and ask like those are the things that it's teaching us. So like you use social, to me, you use social emotional learning as like that framework, the teaching skills and like the trauma informed practices are kind of like what we more so do to be able to like, help a student who's dealing with trauma. So that may be like teacher practices or things that we put into place as a school to help our, brown bears be successful. The two work hand in hand, and I think you need both. I think sometimes people get so caught up on like the buzzwords, and I think that kind of throws people off sometimes. It's like trauma-informed practice and social emotional learning. where do I start? And it's, like it's the two marry each other and they support each other and they both are needed to be present in order to like, help a student be successful.
So did any of your staff members have any background or training in social emotional learning or trauma informed practices? Was that a requirement for you to hire them or no?
No, it wasn't. And a lot of them have had trainings. A lot of them just like informal, like a lot of it's just been like your own research, being in the field for a while, you start to pick it up. But they did tell me, there was like, this is the best like training that I've received, in terms of like just like academic training, like as a teacher, because like you said before, like typically like schools don't do that. And it's a lot of reasons why, and like in everybody, but I just know best practices that I've received. And the training piece is a big piece of it. So a lot of our staff, the training that they did receive in the beginning has like definitely helped them in understanding like the language and shaping it. And then we just made it like extremely real. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we get in these trainings and like people talking these high buzz level words. And it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And you had me like, I'm still stuck on the last word you said. But it's like really real for people, like giving real life examples and helping them understand, like why, we do the things that we do. We have meaning behind everything that we do. So like really breaking that down for them, like invested them more in the things that we do here.
That is great. I love it. So I know you all did that training in the beginning of the year. How often do you do the training with them through this academic year?
Yeah. Every day is professional development for me. I'm always coaching, like even if it's not in a professional, like even if it's not in a sit down, get this type of setting, like I'm always coaching, I'm always like supporting, and we always, like working through just like trauma informed practices because we're learning our brown bears, right? We're learning our families and just like they're learning us. So it's like, it's a lot of information sharing that's back and forth, and it's us like taking that in and like using it to help inform, the strategies that we're using in the classroom. But we always have trainings more formally. We have, multiple trainings throughout the year, each week, each month. Like tomorrow we have, Monday we have teacher planning day. So like that'll be a day for us to like do some whole school training around like what we're seeing culturally in our building. So there's always opportunities for our staff. We're a learning team. Like I'm the type of guy, like I do read a lot. And I'm always like learning and exploring and like, I got an opportunity to open up a school. So like, like I'm pushing myself sometimes to be more innovative and like not always do the things the same. So I'm always learning. And because of that, my staff, like I'm always like giving them books, like readings, like they tell you, they get, like, here another book, yes, you're gonna get another, here you go. But it's like, it's because like we're building that muscle, right? Like we're building, like if we want our kids to be this, we have to model it first.
That is amazing. I like that. Build that muscle, that intellectual muscle. I love that. So I love the fact that you do the the way you describe it, impromptu coaching. In other words, you don't have to wait to a planning day or wait to a special training day. They're getting it often, so they're touching you more. So you are an approachable leader. You engaged, and that's very important. So you mentioned something about the parents. And wait, before I go to the parents, I want to go back. You said you had 2 teachers in each of your classrooms?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the idea behind it? Because most traditional classrooms only have 1 teacher.
Yeah, I thought about it from a perspective of teacher sustainability. Like if you like pre-COVID, like a lot of teachers, they just it's hard for everybody right now, right? So like I wanted our teachers to feel like, I'm not, just having to like set the culture all on my own. And like, you have a partner that you're working with, a team member that you're working with who can like help you balance the load. And that was the purpose behind that. It was like to balance that load. And if one have to step out, talk to a brown bear, guess what? The classroom can still keep going. And it allows like a lot of flexibility, and it allows for our brown bears to be able to get like, more than just one perspective in the classroom. So for us, it was like extremely intentional. Like I did think about it a lot, but it was like, I think this is the right move to make, especially in the midst of like a pandemic and like, teachers like the great resignation. So it was like, I wanted teachers to make sure that they felt just like supported, and they had everything that they needed. And like having that two teacher model has definitely been beneficial for us.
I like that. I like that so much, because when I was a high school teacher, I was the only one that had a teacher assistant, and she was an actual parent, and she didn't work. And I have benefited greatly having her in the room, because I would get pulled out a lot. I would get them going with lessons, but if they had questions or they needed help or they needed, redirecting, having that second person in the room, it is helpful. So when you said that, I'm like, okay. I say, Cameron, I like that, because we do need that as teachers to help balance the load, and it will prevent them from getting burnt out or emotionally exhausted, because that can take a toll. So I love that. Now, my next question, you mentioned about the parents. How are you all building that relationship with the parents of your brown bears?
That's one thing that I'm the most proud of right now. And I did not think that would be the case. I knew parents would love the school, don't get me wrong. But if I think about like my quarter one accomplishment that I would have like thought would have been my quarter, it would not have been like the level of parent engagement that we have. But like our parents are absolutely amazing. And they love like the school. And they're so bought in and invested. And it just feels so good. Like to see them, trusted, right? Like to walk in the building, like a lot of parents like have talk about trauma. Like, I'm pretty sure you have plenty of stories. I know I got plenty of them of the trauma that I've dealt with in school. And I can just imagine what it's like when you have to take your child to school and relive that trauma, and you relive it at times too, right? Because one is like, I walk into a building, I'm constantly reminded of the trauma that I've already experienced. And then I'm freaking out and going crazy because guess what? My child experiencing the same trauma that I experienced. So it's a cycle. So for us, it was like extremely important. I was like, yo, we'll do nothing else. Like our parents need to feel welcome and loved in this building. And that is what we've done. And like they come in and volunteer.
That's good.
Come in and volunteer. Like they put in work. Like our parents are so amazing. We had dance practice 2 weeks ago. And dance tryouts 2 weeks ago. Over 40 of our girls tried out for dance. We have 40 girls in school. So like every girl tried out for dance. And, like, every parent like lined up in the hallway, just like trying to get a peep into practice. We had a family barbecue Friday because our birthday, was our homecoming week, and we celebrated the school birthday on Thursday. And we had a barbecue that Friday. We had over 100 families come out. Like it was like,
wow,
how many volunteers, like people, family members, and it wasn't just mom, it wasn't just dad, it was like grandma, auntie, uncle, and like that's and the reason why is because like we built that culture early on in parent orientation. I let them know like our rallying cry is it takes a village. Like that was my rallying cry since 2018, and I know it's a buzzword right now, but we've been saying it since the beginning. It takes a village, and we got to get back to what it used to be, what school used to be, what community used to be. Like, when did we ever get away from us being able to like raise our kids together and provide them with a common set of values? You understand? Like as a community, like that is extremely important. And we've like stepped away from that. And I'm like, no, we got to get it back. So we are doing so many things to like just allow parents to come in our building. We had a field trip last week. Like we had to stop the number of chaperones that can come on a field trip because we had like they come to the school and be like, I don't want to leave. I love it, but they know it's love here. And one parent had brought in another guy with him, like one of the brown bears, like uncle, and he, made a comment to our dean of operations, like, y'all are just so welcoming here and just so like nice and sweet. And I'm like, isn't that what every school is? And like, and I have to remind myself and check myself. And no, it's not. Like sometimes you walk into a place and the person at the front desk won't even greet you. Like that is like we don't play that here. Like we treat everybody with the same level of respect, no matter what you have, the type level of education you have, like any of that. Like you are our family. You are a part of our family. You're a part of our village, and we love you. And we're gonna support you. We go even in the times we do have that conflict around the conflict gonna come up. It's fine. We're gonna work through it. We're gonna talk through it. We're gonna treat each other with respect, but we always gonna have like love as the foundation in everything that we do. And I am just overjoyed with the parent engagement that we have so far. And I know it's only going to get better. And like us being able to like engage families the way we have, like that's what, sometimes we sit down and think about like, what's the difference between this school across the bridge and our schools in the urban community. And a lot of it is parent engagement. And a lot of it is like across the bridge, mama can get off work and mama can, or mama don't work and mama can come in and help the school. But guess what? We can do it too. And we have to do it. We have to be involved. We have to be present. And our parents, like, even though they work hard, they still make it, like they still come in and they still like support the school. And like, I couldn't ask for more. Like, this school is for them. It's for their kids. And I'm just overjoyed to see the level of like love that's present there.
I am super excited to hear that. Oh my goodness. I mean, I just got goosebumps just listening, because I used to be a PTA president, and that was my job, is to really recruit and get parents to get engaged. And I know you marketed hard on social media and your message is clear, and that is amazing to hear, you having that strong parental engagement. So my last question, and you kind of gave some nuggets to help some of our traditional public schools, our private schools, and our other charter schools. Why is it important to practice trauma-sensitive practices and include those parents in the process? What advice would you give future, existing, retiring educators on trauma-informed practices? You gave some, but I want you to give them. I want you to give them something that we ain't talked about, so we can do this thing together. Because listening to you, you got the blueprint for the solution. It takes a village, and you got to be compassionate. So, what advice you gonna give, or would like to give these future educators?
Yeah, love. Like it's real simple. It's just love.
Now let me be clear, because a lot of teachers done got in trouble for being too lovable.
Yeah,
they wind up going to jail. So let's give some context.
Love is not that. That's the thing. Like, I think sometimes we get confused when we think like love is always just so rosy, and like love is always need to be like, oh, it's something like sex. No, that's not love, right? Like that love is go deeper than that. Like, love is me like seeing you in for who you are unconditionally, in loving that, right? Like being kind of compassionate to you for who you are, for what you bring to the space. Love is, I teach our kids this, like, love is holding high expectations for you. Like, I love you enough to hold the bar high. Love is you respecting yourself, because if you respected yourself, you wouldn't do certain things. So like, love goes deeper than just like, let me give you a hug, or like, or if we think like sexual, like that's not the love that I'm talking about. I'm talking about true love. I'm talking about like that deep, like love for humanity and love for all mankind. And when I say love, that goes back to compassion, right? Like, it goes back to kindness. And in schools, we're dealing with a lot. We got overhead. We got like, we trying to get scores. Like, I get it. Like, I don't blame any school for having the focus that they have. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that like we're in the business of, one, teaching kids, and supporting families. And those are our customers. And at the end of the day, we need to show them the ultimate level of like love and respect. And guess what? When you do, like, it's like a fire, like a ember, like it catches fire, and everybody like it starts to do it too. But we have to make sure that we just have that love and compassion for each other. Like, this school, everything that we're doing, everything that I'm doing, when I say we, like, I have an amazing staff, so we are doing, but everything that I did think of, in designing the school was all built on a foundation of love. And people hate when I say that, because it's like, what you mean love? Like, where's the data points? Like, everybody want this, that, and that. It's like, it's quite simple. Just treat each other with respect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, see each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's the simple things that we can do to make a better experience. And that's even in schools too. Don't be rude and nasty to people when they walk through the door. Good morning, how you doing? We're so happy to see you, Mom. tell them a funny story about the kid. I saw Jeremiah the other day, and he, was like being such a good leader in class, and it just like warmed my heart. Like, you're doing such a good job with him. Like, there's some positive, there's some gold in every child. Every child is smart. Like, I believe that every person is smart. Every person has something they offer to this world and a reason why they're here. And it is our job, like and I leave off on this, and I think this is a thing to tell schools. It's our job. Nina Simone said that she quote Nina Simone. She said that it is our job to unleash what is already there, right? Like, we don't have to give them anything. I believe that I'm not giving our kids anything. They're already great. They were born that way. They're already excellent. They already have everything in them that they need to be successful. It is our job as educators to see the gold in them, to see the greatness in them, and to pull it out. And that is what we do every single day. But we can't just stop there with the kids. You have to see the gold in the parents too. You have to see the gold in the community. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to see gold in the world. Like, it extends beyond just the kids. But if we're able to train and change our mindsets based on that, yes, we can have an ecosystem where kids love and feel love coming to school every day, how they should feel. Kids should wake up every day happy and smiling and joyful and excited to learn and excited to explore. Like, that's what being a child was like for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that every kid have like that type of experience. So when any of them walk in my door and they looking down, like, yes, we give intentional greetings, because guess what? That's my check-in to see how you're doing. Because if you're not doing good, I'm going to get you before you get to that door, and I'm going to figure out what's wrong with you and lift those spirits. So therefore you are able to like come in this environment and truly thrive, because that's what's most important. But I know that was a lot. I know I said a lot, but at the end of the day, at the root of it all, it's just like, I mean, the thing that we need for each other is just like to love each other and to be compassionate and have that kindness there. And if you do that, like I believe that, we can make a difference in our schools and make a difference in the experiences that parents have with schools and that students have with schools.
That is beautiful. It wasn't a lot. It's just people misinterpret the definition of love because it's so broad, but I wanted you to be specific, because you always have people that try to pick it apart. And this assignment of a teacher, an educator, it is not just a job for a paycheck. You're serving selflessly. And the teachers have the most important role that impacts student lives for a lifetime. So no, that's just why I wanted you to expound on it, because it's very, very important, because you are grooming our future leaders. You're grooming our next judges, our next lawyers, our next president, our next governors, our next senators, our next global CEOs, our tech global. You're good. You're planting those seeds at this age with your brown bears to be the next to innovate. So I appreciate your perspectives. I appreciate the school model that you institute in. I love the fact that you have camaraderie with your staff, your students, and that amazing parent engagement, because I hate when y'all had the barbecue. I had to miss it, but I ain't missing no more barbecues.
Come on
but
out.
I just love it. So I'm going to give you this time and the space before we go. Let us know what's coming up for Becoming Schools next week.
Yeah, I mean, we have every week is busy here. We always have some events going on, but we love it though. And that's just because we have an amazing community supporting us. But next week, we are having our ribbon cutting. It is October 10th at 10 a.m. right here at Becoming Collegiate Academy, 5258 Norwood Avenue, Unit 3. If you know where the police substation at, because I don't know, like, you dated me now. I'm like, I don't know that. But I do know the police substation that we're on the same side, just come all the way to the back. But this is an opportunity for us to be able to say thank you to the community. Like, this school would not be possible, like, if we did not have the amazing support of the Jacksonville community. And that was from people giving hugs, like, just the baby, you can do it, keep going, the encouragement, like people giving us, like, supplies, like so many people donated so much to us, like furniture. We've had, people go on our Amazon wish list and fulfill those wishes. Like, that is the reason why this school is where it's at. Even you coming in and us giving you a tour and you like giving feedback and like just helping us out and just like supporting us, like those are the things that help make us better. And that community is what we want to highlight and celebrate. So Tuesday is our opportunity to not only celebrate the opening of Becoming Collegiate Academy in a school that's impacting our community, but it's also an opportunity for us just to take a step back as a school and say thank you. Because we haven't been able to really do that because we've been so busy. Like it's been like, oh, every it's moving fast. But this is an opportunity for us to just take a step back and just tell everybody thank you and to celebrate together as a community because the work that we do we know is extremely special.
Awesome. So that is Tuesday, October the 18th, right?
Yes, October 18th, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Is it a cutoff time? Is this all day? Because
No.
we might hang out all day, so you might need to tell us.
Yeah. So really, it's a quick program. It's a ribbon cutting. So we're very mindful about like, I'm all about like, I'm the long drawn out programs and everybody talking and we ain't got time for all that. We gonna do what we need to do, say what we need to say. And then we're gonna have some time afterwards for us to take pictures and to celebrate each other and to, celebrate the moment. But we will not be out there all day. Our brown bears got to get back to learning. And I got to get back to leading the school. So 30 minutes before we'll have a meet and greet. We have the program, and then 30 minutes to an hour after we'll have an additional time for people just like linger and talk. And then we're going back to work. And if you want to be involved, like there are so many opportunities. We just ask that you visit our website, www.becomingschools.org, because we have so much information on there about how to volunteer. You can get in contact with us there. All of our information is there. But I'm really all about building the exposure of our students, our brown bears, and just providing them with different experiences. So we are extending the invite to any community members who are able to help make that possible for our brown bears to like definitely do so. So those are things that Black kids typically don't get to do, like go hiking, like those type of things that are the experiences that moves them beyond just seeing what's in their community and neighborhood. And we want our brown bears to know that the world is at their fingertips and they can do anything in it they put their minds to, because they are a brown bear and because they had their confidence built up to know that they can go out and change the world, and they will.
Awesome. That is amazing. So listeners, viewers, you heard it here. The open house, the ribbon cutting is Tuesday, October the 18th at 10 a.m. at the Becoming Schools on the north side of Jacksonville in the Gateway Town Center, down from the substation all the way to the back. So will y'all be live streaming for those who cannot come in person, but they want to still support the ribbon cutting? Will y'all be live streaming?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll have somebody going live on Facebook.
Sounds great. Now, those that want to donate and support, do they go to the website? Do y'all still have your Amazon wish list up? How can they support you from a distance?
All of our information, everything is on our website. So I'll drive you all to our website. You click on donate to be able to donate. We are a public school, but unfortunately, like operating just on public dollars don't get the job done for us in the model that we're building. So therefore, like we're always looking for additional support from community members to help fulfill our mission and our vision. So whatever it is that you can give, like even if it's chipping in, people give us $5, $10 here and there, like those dollar amounts go a long way. And we're so grateful for it. We're so thankful for it. And we believe in, like our community being present and helping make this school a success. Like it takes a village. So thank you to anybody who have already donated. Thank you for being a part of our village, and thank you to those who are considering it and will, because this special school that we're building here, that we've built here in Jacksonville and continue to establish, like you say, it's about building the future. So it's not an investment into now, it's an investment into the future of our people. It's an investment into the future of Jacksonville. And that's why this work is so important.
Awesome. So awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Cameron Frazier, for this amazing interview on trauma educational practices, social emotional learning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are keeping the conversation going because it is a hot topic right now in our country, and we need to be informed as a community, as parents, as leaders, as business leaders, how we need to make sure our children is taken care of as a whole child, not just bits and pieces, as the whole, everything that encompasses them. And for those parents who feel like that you don't have the time, Mr. Frazier is encouraging you, make the time. Find a way to show your face up in the place. You'd be surprised how that impacts your child when they see you involved. So, Mr. Frazier, I give you the final thoughts to everyone. I know your key word is love. If they ain't figured it out by now, shame on them. But I'm going to give you the final call to action to our listeners and viewers, and we're going to sign off on this amazing interview because I know you got to get back to work.
Yeah, we got to get back to work. One is thank you to everybody. My call of action is to let you all know that we, Becoming Collegiate Academy, have established the first HBCU Elementary School right here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're changing the narrative, and we are really doing something that the world is taking attention to and seeing. So I appreciate everybody for all the love and support. We still have a few seats open, so if you're interested, we are enrolling kindergarten and first grade. You can visit our website to fill out an application there. Our applications for the next school year, we're opening up very soon. So parents who are thinking about next year will be K1 and 2. We'll continue to grow a grade level each year until we're full K5. So you can go in and apply in a couple weeks. But thank you for everything that you are doing. Like, I love your energy and your spirit, and you are such an amazing individual. And when I think about like love, like you are truly a living example of what it means to show love to others in the community. So thank you for everything that you are doing. And like, I know this is, like, you're going to continue to like impact lives in a positive way. And I love it. I'm just so grateful that we're able to say that you're a part of our village. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the listeners. That this is an amazing platform. And I believe that because of the good things that are being talked about, it's going to go out and just impact so many others to make others' lives better. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it today. And I wish you all the best and invite you out to come celebrate with us October 18th at 10 a.m.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frazier, and thank you for the brown bears. I love it. I can't wait to see all the cool stuff that you have done since I've been there. Looking forward to see you on Tuesday. So if y'all not busy, I need y'all to come meet me there at the Becoming Collegiate Academy. If you can't get here, I need you to go on their Facebook page on the Becoming Academy Collegiate School so you can watch it live. If you got some change and some coins in your pockets, we really need some bills, I need y'all to go donate. I need y'all to go hit Amazon and hit that wish list. This is an investment in our children's future. So no contribution, no small, but we like the big ones. We need you all to help so we can equip our children to be productive, innovative, creative citizens in society. Thank you all for listening, and we are keeping the conversation going. Thank you, Mr. Frazier.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you.